Hey, everybody, welcome to the 901 podcast or video. I'm your host, Patrick Crider, the owner of the insurance shop of Tennessee and Oddfellow Sock Company. And with me is co-host Brandon Wally. He is the owner of Clarksville Vision Center. Our mission is to put a spotlight on local business owners and people in the community that are making a big difference in the 901. With us today is Jay Crowe with Crowe Heating and Air. Crowe Heating and Air is based in Memphis, Tennessee, and it's been in business since 2001.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I did draw a random fact about you that some people may not know. You are the original Tiger King. You had 300 tigers.
Yeah. Well, the secret's out now, I guess, but yes.
Have you watched that?
I have watched that, and yes, my wife and I were incredibly addicted to it. We went through it very fast.
It's insane.
But you couldn't write that story.
No, not at all. You could make it up. So, well, man, I appreciate you being on here.
Thanks for having me.
I guess kind of the first thing is just kind of want to go back and how'd you get into heating and air in general?
Yeah. So I was in high school. I played football at Germantown High School, and a buddy of mine on the team, his dad owned a refrigeration business. And he would come and get a handful of us guys to work for him in the summer or Christmas break or whatever. And, for them, it was cheap labor. And for us, we were all getting to work together, having a great time. And that is how I picked it up, working summers in high school. And from there, my father, who was actually an attorney before we started the heating and air business, him and I decided we could do this together. And so in 2001, we started Crowe Heating and Air. And shortly after, we brought my brother on, and we just started growing it from there. And it really is a family-owned business. My brother works there. My father is still there. My wife is there. My brother-in-law is there. We have other employees. We have some employees that we're extremely proud of and really lucky to have, but it is truly a family business.
So I've met Chris. Is Chris your brother-in-law?
Yeah, that's my wife's brother.
Okay, I got you. Awesome. So are you out in the field still doing a lot of the work, or are you running the business?
Not so much anymore. It's not uncommon. I'm out a lot giving quotes and estimates and talking to contractors that we work with and things like that. So I would say it's kind of half and half. Part of my day's in the office, part of my day's out. I don't run as many service calls or actual installs anymore as we've grown, but mostly because we have far better people to do that than myself. Yeah. So we have some really knowledgeable guys and girls helping us at Crowe. But so I'm definitely out and about all day, but not so much doing the service calls myself anymore.
Gotcha.
So when you kind of go back to when y'all first started it, I know like as an optometrist, we kind of want to be in a town where we maybe have 4,000 or 5,000 people that we can service that, potentially could be customers and that kind of stuff. Do y'all have any kind of like specific analysis y'all look at, like, hey, this many people live here, XYZ, that kind of stuff? Or you just say, hey, we want to do this and just get going?
When we first started, it was very much we want to do this and we got started. Over the years, I have learned more and more about the actual business side of it. And so we do work with a consulting company. And every year, one of our big goals is, or one of our big projects is we sit down and do a business plan. And the first thing we start at is with another analysis of Memphis, Shelby County, the state of Tennessee, because I am a statewide contractor, even though we're based in Memphis and most of our work is here in Shelby County. So that's the first thing we start with. And we start with looking at the population and income levels and everything. And we basically decide, come to do the math and figure out exactly what portion of the city we're already doing work for. And so what our potential for growth is.
Nice. So I kind of want to go back a little bit too. When you started the business, I'm sure you've got your own struggles and things day to day now, but what were some of the biggest things that I guess were hiccups along the way as you were starting it?
Yeah, that's a great question, because as so many people know, owning your own business is not easy. And frankly, guys come to me all the time asking, saying, I think I want to start my own heating and air business or electrical business or whatever, any advice. And one of the first things I tell them is, if you've got these big visions of grandeur, we need to put that in check real quick, because it's very hard to own your own business. And it's even harder when you start adding employees. So some of the first obstacles were, we had a lot of people that talked to us and said we would use you and all this kind of stuff. But I think probably our first hiccup was just the amount of work it takes to stay busy in 1 year. Mm-hmm. Even when it was just my father and I, it just takes a whole lot of work. So at that point, one of my first thoughts were, what are other businesses or people that need monthly income like we do? And so the first thing I sought out were property managers and real estate agents. Real estate agents, their goals are closing houses every single month, and they have inspection reports, and they have repairs and cleanings and maintenance and things that they need. So we went after a lot of real estate agents, and property management companies are the same way. They have these rental houses, and obviously they can't let the repairs go undone. So at one point, our business was probably 80% property management work. We had a ton of apartment complexes and property managers. We had 8 property management companies here in town, and they all had somewhere between 700 and 1,000 houses. And so that was what helped us keep busy. It is not the most profitable business as far as service work goes, but it was great to help us get started and get our foot in the ground. And I don't know what would have happened if we had not sought that avenue. So that was our first real stepping stone, was, okay, so how are we going to stay busy year round and make this our livelihood? And so that's what we did. We went after other similar industries that needed monthly income and monthly revenue and work, and we just bombarded them.
Yeah.
So now we're probably about
your
60-40 residential to commercial. We do very, very little property management anymore. But the residential we work are owner occupied, and then we do a lot of commercial, a lot of businesses and warehouses and churches and things like that we have. So it's a little bit more even keel now.
Gotcha. Brandon, what'd you have?
That's what I was going to ask. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Perfect.
Great question there.
So we've intentionally transitioned over the years. We're trying to, we got out of a lot. It's not that we turned down property management companies at all, but we just transitioned into more owner-occupied homes and commercial businesses. And so we do a lot of maintenance for both, and we do a lot of repairs, and we do new installation. We are a trained dealer, and we're very proud of that, but we can work on any brand and equipment.
You do much new construction?
No, very little. Well, we do from time to time, but not very much. Most of ours are existing.
Yeah, back in the day when I did landscaping, we almost did zero new construction, and it was probably the same reason for the property managers. It was very low margin stuff. It would keep you busy to some degree, but we weren't. So we just purposefully stayed away from it.
Yeah. Oh, it's true. I mean, that's like I said, the property management industry, it's great, and I respect a lot of those people. Don't get me wrong, but from my particular industry and my business point of view, it's not the most profitable. So as I can transition and fill my hours of a day with more profitable work, that's what we intentionally did. But it's a great industry, and like I said, I would still recommend people who are getting started. You still have to fill your time with busy work. So sometimes when you're starting a business, you have to do what you have to do.
Yeah. How difficult was it, just the transition from you and your father to now you are hiring employees? Was that something that was difficult, or at some point you got so much work going on that you just couldn't handle it?
Yeah, so it's very difficult, and I'm not sure if I could tell you it gets easier. I don't know if one employee is different than 10.
Yeah.
Every new employee, you have to go through the whole trusting them, from a heating and air company, what I try to explain to everybody is put yourself in my shoes. I am sending people into other people's homes. This is not a business where customers come to me or enter my store or something like that. I am doing something very personable. I am sending someone into your home, and so I have to trust them. I have to believe in them, believe they know what they're doing, believe they're going to represent the company. So finding people that I trust, that I know are reputable, it doesn't necessarily get easier with 1 or 10 employees. It's always very nerve-wracking. What probably does get easier is that now we have more people to help us pick those people, new hires. I've got an amazing general manager. I've got an amazing service manager. And so I have more minds to lean on and say,
Yeah.
no, I think that's a good person, or no, stay away. So finding good help is very, very hard. A service industry is trickier, I feel like, than most. But that's probably the hardest thing every time. And I don't know that it's gotten easier. It's just hard to find good people that you trust to represent you. You put your whole life, your heart into your business, and it is hopefully a representation of you and your morals. And so to bring somebody into the fold and say, I trust you, it's a bigger deal than what some people may realize.
Yeah.
Do you have a source of people that, like, does somebody refer, like, is there a trade school or something like that where you can draw from?
Yeah, we've got several ways of hiring or finding technicians and installers. So we have a consulting company we work with, and they offer a company where they help us find literally any position we want in our company. And over the years, that's been a great source of finding people. Also, the longer you're in this industry and the more people you have at your company, the more people we know. So our circle is bigger than ever. Like I said, I've been in this industry almost 20 years now. And so you just know a lot of people, and you can put the word of mouth out very quickly when you are looking for someone. And then obviously, the guys we have working for us know a lot of people in the industry. So yeah, that part, we have many different avenues to find people, but it doesn't make it easier to find good people, but we have a lot of avenues to look.
This might be a difficult question, but what do you think makes y'all a little bit different than some of the other heating and air companies in town?
So I know that a lot of businesses say they're family owned. As I said, we are genuinely family owned. We have about half the people in our company are literally family. So I think that's a big factor. I know a lot of people like that. I think the fact that, myself or my brother are very well the ones that could end up in your home giving you a quote. A lot of people like that. Our business cards have our cell phone numbers on them, so we are easily reached. And then again, we've been we've lived in Germantown for so long that a lot of people know us. And so we have an amazing following on Facebook, and we have a big, strong presence on the Germantown Facebook page and the Collierville Facebook page. So I think that's the biggest thing, is that we are really local. We are right here. We are easily, you can get a hold of an owner very quickly, or a family member. And like I said, we've been around a long time, so a lot of people do know us. I mean, as we were just doing our 6 degrees, a lot of people, we've been around a long time, so we're not going to ruin our reputation or with bad work.
So I'm very much guilty of new shiny things as far as marketing and stuff like that. So I'm just curious, because going back to me doing landscaping, so this was 10 plus years ago, literally the best marketing we did at the time, and this is so sad looking hindsight, was business cards and plastic bags with a couple of rocks and throw it in somebody's driveway.
Sure.
Something like that. And times have definitely changed since those times. But is there anything that you do marketing wise that you think has really helped grow the business? Or
So I think we'd all agree word of mouth is still the most purest form. So like I said, people who have used us that go on Facebook and, and say, I've used Crowe, they were amazing. That is still probably the best source for business, the direct referral, word of mouth type referral. But I believe that it's just a numbers game. We do a lot of different things. So we're in magazines. In fact, Laura Broder in our group, I think we're going to be her main story in the May edition, I believe.
I got you.
Which I'm very excited about that. We've got several magazines that we're in. We do Facebook and social media marketing. We do mail out. So, I mean, one of the things I spend quite a bit of time on is personally writing thank you notes. I write thank you notes for our installs. And then if we do an install at a customer's house, I will send, hey, we were in your neighborhood. We helped the customer out too. The neighbors right around. Anything and everything we can to get in front and have a real reason to reach out to somebody. So we really just cover the gamut. I mean, we really do a lot of different marketing, but like I said, any form where it's directly from a customer's mouth is still to me the best. And that, unfortunately, that kind of thing takes time for business. It's just not something you have right off the bat, but we've been very fortunate to have a lot of good customers that refer us and talk about us online. And so I don't know that that's the new shiniest thing, but that's still the best form for us, I've found.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think that's 100% the best way to get business. In a lot of cases, it's trying to figure out a way to get people to give good referrals or put your name out there. That sometimes can be the most difficult part. But it feels like anytime that we get a referral from a real estate agent or something like that, our closing rate is super high. Yeah. And then if it's cold,
and we track that very intentionally. We track that kind of stuff. So we track, all of the things about our sales, what type of equipment, efficiency, all that kind of stuff, and where the referrals came from. And absolutely, I mean, the ones where, they were a referral from a current customer or friend or something, the closing ratios are much higher on those. And that's what I was saying. I don't know that I still don't think you can beat that. That's just the best form of it. But I think you just have to blanket the market and constantly have your name out there and so that people are familiar with it when they see it. And they may not be looking for a new system right now, but when they do, and then a friend says we use Crowe, and they go, oh yeah, I did see their truck, or I did see a postcard or something. It's just all of that just kind of comes together at once. So that's what. Do
you have a way that you can track? Like, I've seen your name in the magazine a few times. Can you track those? Like, do they have a code or something, a special number they call or anything like that?
Yeah. So a lot of those marketing places will do that. They offer specific numbers if you like, or ways for them to track it. We don't typically do that. We typically use our own phone number, but we always ask when people call in. We in our software, it's a spot where we plug that in so that we literally see the numbers of who came from Facebook, who came from a B&I group, who came from an existing customer. I'll tell you, one of the things that we do to answer your question probably better, Patrick, is that one of the forms of marketing that we really actually enjoy a lot are the town fairs. So we do Carterville Fair on the Square, we do the Germantown Fair, the Bartlett one, and those are amazing and always very, very successful for us. We have a booth there where, like I said, myself, my brother, Diane, our general manager, there'll be several of us there all weekend, and we meet people, we talk to them, we get to answer questions directly, and that honestly is also a very successful form of marketing that we've been doing now for 4 or 5 years. That's actually a great one.
It's so interesting because everything on like the insurance front, like insurance is slow to move on a lot of stuff, but they're very like everybody's into all the Facebook, and I mean even some people are saying market on TikTok, which I don't know that I'm quite ready to do that yet, but
I want to see you do a TikTok.
man, I've looked at it. I think I aged out of TikTok about 20 years ago. But I mean, it's an interesting thing, but it is funny because a lot of the stuff that you're saying is more, I wouldn't say organic, but it's more of the personal touch kind of stuff as opposed to seeing stuff on Facebook or LinkedIn ads or whatever.
Absolutely. Yeah. And like I said, we try to do a lot of them. We're a Google guaranteed company. I mean, we try to do the online, all that kind of stuff as well. But I guess I'm old school. I like the interaction with the customers, and I like that they feel that they know they can call me, and, I like to see them at the fairs and that kind of thing. That's still the best source for us personally.
I'm curious about
if you got this much natural charisma, you got to get out there, right?
I'm curious about the fair stuff, so I may have to try that.
Yeah.
Same here.
Yeah, it's great. I'll tell you. I mean, it really is. Every time we always have success from them. But I cannot tell you how many people will call us during the year and say, "Yeah, I saw you at the fair," or some. I mean, they remember, and we give out gift baskets and cards, and we have equipment there that people can put their hands on, and it just draws them over. And with heating and air, I mean, literally everyone is affected by it. It's in your house, it's in your business, it's everywhere. So at some point, everybody asks about it.
Yeah. So hopefully this question doesn't apply to any of us a month or 2 months or 3 months from now, but are you having to make any changes just with the current state of affairs with the coronavirus and everything? Have you seen, I guess, an impact in your business, but then stuff that you're having to do to make sure customers are safe and all that?
Absolutely. So we have seen some impact. Obviously, a lot of our commercial business is not happening right now because so many businesses are closed.
Yeah.
So that has definitely, we have seen a bit of an impact from that. Our residential business, honestly, so I feel so fortunate to be in this industry in this part of the country at this particular time because obviously this is a horrible thing that's happening to everybody, but Memphis is getting hot, and we all know how hot Memphis is in the summer, and so we residentially we have not slowed down. We absolutely have made some changes. We have the mask and we have the gloves, and we are doing things as a company to make sure that if you trust us enough to have you in your home, then we're going to go our lengths to make sure that we reciprocate that and that we're being safe and smart with our actions. But again, as it gets warmer, people are going to need their air, and so they are having it worked on. They are having it maintained and getting it ready for the summer. And so our thankfully our residential business really has not been impacted, and we honestly we have been very, very fortunate compared to a lot. I do not take it for granted, and I do not say that lightly. I genuinely feel for a lot of people right now in other industries and other businesses, but I have to say that in this particular one, we have been very fortunate. We are staying very busy right now.
Are y'all having to do anything differently when you go to a customer's house, or is it pretty much same? Or
yeah, so it's not that we have to do things differently, but a lot of the things that we're doing, we've been doing already. So we've always done things like shoe covers. We've always done floor protection and things like that. So a lot of that stuff is not necessarily new for us. Now, as far as code or government regulations or anything, they have not mandated anybody do anything in our industry, but we absolutely, people are calling and asking and making sure we're wearing masks. And of course, we're telling them, yes, we're all of our guys have masks and gloves and shoe protection and that kind of thing. So,
Yeah.
and we're, when we get in the home, we're trying to stay our distance away from everybody. So it's a little different from that standpoint. But like I said, a lot of the practices we already use shoe covers. We already use floor protection. So, that kind of stuff is pretty much similar. A lot of the maintenance in the springtime can be done outside. So that's nice. We don't have to be super invasive and come in your home always. And just we're making considerations, and we've definitely made some changes, but nothing drastically different for us.
It's funny, the shoe covers thing, and I may be the only person that thinks like this, but back when I lived in Nashville, I had one of the plumbing companies that I knew. I had them come do some work, and they put on shoe covers, and I didn't think much about it at the time, but then like I had somebody come and do HVAC work or something that came in the house too, and they didn't. And I just remember thinking about that, being like, man, they really should have shoe covers.
Yeah. A lot of our customers love that. We've got some practices that we've made part of our process, our daily process, that we are constantly trying to think about what the customer would appreciate. Our software, when we dispatch to a customer's house, it automatically sends them a text, and it tells them who is on the way and a picture of them.
That's awesome.
And the customer, we get huge feedback from that. People love knowing we're on our way and who exactly is coming. And then, we try to do some decent stuff to keep the dirt and grass and everything from inside your house. So, but
No, that's awesome, and that's part of I guess, keeping up with technology and everything. But that little automation, those are some of the things that I'm constantly trying to work in with the agency, just trying to get things better on that front. Because, like I mentioned earlier, insurance, for some reason, we seem to be the slowest industry in progressing with the times. And now, like, the Geicos and the Progressives of the world are beating us up on it.
Yeah.
So all the rest of us are trying to catch up on some of that stuff. But I guess my last question, unless Brandon's got more, if somebody asked you, and you kind of touched on this earlier, but if somebody asked you for one single bit of advice, if they're starting a new business or if they're starting an HVAC company or just something along those lines, what little nugget of advice would you want to give that person?
Oh, there are so many nuggets to choose from. I would probably tell them two things. I'm sorry not to play the game correctly, but I would probably say two things.
I kind of just threw this at you, so we kind of make the rules up as we go.
Make sure you are a very hard worker, because that is going to be a given. You're going to work hard, but I have to say, as cheesy as it may sound, being honest with people and being fair with people has gotten us further than any other possible thing I could mention. Any other trick, marketing, or whatever. Our customers genuinely believe and know that we're an honest family, and we're sincere, and we're going to tell you the truth, and that will spread like wildfire faster than anything else. And I would say, always be honest. Just be honest and fair and direct, and that will get you a whole lot further, and you got nothing to be ashamed of at the end of the day. So that's what I would recommend. And you better be good at your craft, because like I said, if you're not good at it, you're really going to struggle. So be good, be willing to work hard, and be honest. And I know it's not, some secret formula, but that's what I would recommend to people.
I would 100% agree on the work hard part. And part of this just comes from my experience, because when I first got into insurance, I worked for a company that specialized in commercial, but I worked directly for the company. And it was a sales position, but I made my money, made my salary, and then I just had to go see 10 businesses a day or something like that.
Right.
That, like, literally, there were some days where, at the time, this is going to make me look bad, but at the time I would be by a swimming pool by 1 o'clock or 2 in the afternoon because I had completed all my tasks and didn't have a single concern the rest of the day or into the night. As soon as I went business for self, a couple of things changed. One, I lost that secure paycheck that I always had. And then 2, now I'm having to sell. I'm having to figure out the processes. I'm having to figure out the finances, all these different things. I'm working way more than I ever did, just in a sales position. So,
I tell you, self-motivation is one of the most underrated characteristics these days. I feel like, you know, being a person who can get themselves up in the morning and you know, do what you've got to do in the day to be successful. You know, when you go to bed at night, can you say that you honestly did something to better your career or better your business? That's a serious thing to think about when you go to sleep. And so self-motivation is huge. And like, you know, be good at what you do before you get into your business, but then be willing to work really, really hard because it's a lot.
Yeah, it's funny. I'll just add to that. It's the same thing for me. Like when I was working for somebody, you know, we have a busy day. I have to see 25 patients, and I'd be like, oh man, I don't want to see all these patients. I just want to sit here and watch Netflix or whatever. Sure. Don't bother me. And as soon as you open your own doors, it's like, where are they? Bring them in. And then, you know, when you're not seeing them, you're thinking about how you can get them in there.
Yeah.
And your thought process is totally different.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, cool. Well, I think that's all I got. I appreciate you coming on.
Man, this has been great. I really appreciate it.
Business with us. So,
absolutely.
And our goal is to try to put a spotlight on local businesses. So I appreciate you doing this with us.
Anytime. Thank you guys very much.
All right. We'll finish it there.
Thanks, Jay.
Appreciate it.
See you later.
See ya.